Central Arkansas head coach Anthony Boone here on the ASUN Gameday podcast. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's so cool down here on this ice, but I maintain it down here. Maintain it. So talk to me about what we can expect from Central Arkansas this season.
Well, as we've been, we should have some exciting moments. We'd like to play up and down. We'd like to play fast. That's something that we'll continue to do. And I'd like to think that we're going to shoot the ball better than we have the last couple of years. Okay. We brought in a couple of guys that do a good job with that, and that's one of our goals is to have a better field goal percentage. So hopefully we'll do that a little bit better this year.
Cameron Hunter, we've seen him in the conference growing over the last couple of years. What are you looking for out of him specifically? I think it's just that now at the point of that veteran leadership on your team, so to speak.
Well, he has grown quite a bit over his first 2 years, and so far, with the summer and the fall that we've done our workouts and our practices, he's shown continued growth, pretty tremendous growth actually. And continued and improved leadership. And so I believe he's going to have a better year this year than he did. Now, that might not be improved stats per se because he had quite impressive stats, but he might be able to help lead us into some better outcomes in some of the games, some of the closer games we had. We might be able to get over the hump in some of those games because he does have improved decision making. Not that it was horrible or anything like that, but he seems to be continuing to grow as a player and leading our new guys, since half the team is new, leading our new guys into learning what we're expecting out of them. Okay.
Just speaking of new guys or just guys that we may be not too familiar with, who is somebody that you feel can have an impact coming in this year that we may be kind of unexpected and just, he's putting up numbers or he's having a huge impact on the floor? Who's that sleeper?
Well, Daniel Sofield is a transfer that we got from West Florida. Okay. And he's accustomed to shooting the ball. Okay. A pretty good size wing player, guard player, and brought him in to shoot the ball. Okay. He did a lot. Had a great career at West Florida down in Pensacola, and expecting him to contribute in that way. And we lost Eddie Kayalud, and he was all everything for us. And so we'll have a little different look as far as our inside play goes. But we brought in Ubongabasi A-Team, which we just call him Glory because his name translates to glory be to God. Okay. So we call him Glory. Okay. And he's a different look for us as far as post play goes, but he'll have a great impact for us with his energy, with his rebounding, and with his ability to help us defend a little bit better inside. Okay. So his numbers won't be what Eddie did for us, but the impact he has will help us quite a bit.
Gotcha. Okay. Last question. If you're not a basketball coach, what sport are you coaching?
Oh, boy.
that's the hard-hitting one there. That's a tough one.
I don't think I'm coaching another sport.
Oh, that's it.
If I'm not coaching basketball, the sport I played in high school besides basketball was golf, and I'm not coaching golf.
You're not a golfer. Okay.
Okay. If I'm doing anything else, I'm either teaching math or directing choir. That's what I would be doing.
That's fair enough. Hey, it is what it is. Basketball or nothing. I got it. I got you. Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Good luck this season.
Oh, thank you very much.
William Hall, ASUN Game Day podcast, and here with Matthew Driscoll, North Florida men's basketball head coach. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, I'm the old man in the league, huh? 15th season. It's amazing to think that we've been here that long, and very, very, very honored. Won 3 championships in the last 9 years. And obviously all of us are at a certain place, whether it doesn't matter what it looks like, we're all at a certain place. And the landscape of what athletics is looking like is what it looks like.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the games are going to be played, the schedule is going to be dealt out, and you've got to do what you've got to do the way in which you've got to do it. So really, really excited about our group and really excited about what's in store for us as we move forward.
Yep. So just going off that initial statement you said with your experience here in the conference, just what's your overall, just a comment on the state of ASUN men's basketball right now?
I can tell you right now from the get-go, when I walked in here today and I saw the guys in the back in the room playing Xbox and the food that they had and the snacks and whatnot, and then I walked out here and saw the media tables and the way in which we had things laid out, it was really exciting for me to know that this was something that was going to be done it the way that it should be done. It's going to look like others, the way others do it at higher levels. And I've been at that level before, and I've been at these kind of places. And for this to look the way it looks and the way in which they've treated us, it's really, really, really impressive what obviously Jeff has done and what the ASUN has done as well too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So just what can we expect from North Florida this season?
You know, I would not want to say pretty much the same, but if you look back at us just statistically over the last 10 years, decades, so to speak, you know, we're obviously one of the most, from a three-point line perspective, we're one of the most dangerous teams in the country. We've always have been. I think we always will be because of the way in which we recruit, our style, and the way in which we play, but we also defend it well too. I would say it to you this way. We don't have a star, so to speak. This is the first time in my career in over a decade that we haven't had an all-league player. And we haven't had an all-league player driving the car. It's always been, you know, Dallas Moore and Ivan Ganderosa and Jose Placer. You know, we thought Jerry's Hicklin before he went to Oklahoma State. So it really is exciting the fact that there's, for me, you have to coach that position so much differently.
Yeah.
And those guys have to grow, and they have to go through whatever it is it looks like. But I'm not very patient. And obviously the expectations for that position is so critical because it makes everything flow.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to see us look like we've always looked. I think you're going to see us actually shoot a lot more threes.
Okay.
We have a lot of our forwards are actually really good three-point shooters like Carter Henriksen was. Even though he was a guard, he was still 6'8". More like a Garrett Sams, a Bo Beach, one of those type players that's been through here, all-decade team guys.
Yeah.
So that part will be very, very similar. And then from the defensive end, we're probably a little bit more athletic than we've been in the past. So that'll present whatever that presents. But athleticism is irrelevant if you don't use it with intelligence. So we have to make sure that our gaps and our rotations, which is when you have X amount of new players, you know, that's one of the hardest things you have to do is get those really, really, you know, that the littlest details make the biggest difference no matter how you slice it. So that's really what we are looking at with our scrimmage yesterday, that we had a private scrimmage, and then we have one more this upcoming Saturday. We really feel good about where we are and where we're going.
You have any, just looking at it, anybody you think is right there ready to have a breakout season that you think is
Well, I would say as far as the way you stated it, I would say Chaz Lanier, only because
I'm with you. Okay.
he scored 45 points in our first 14 ASUN games last year. In the last 5, he scored 53. So whatever that was that came on, praise God it came on because, you know, obviously it presents that for him as confidence going into the postseason, now going into the preseason, through the summer, going to Costa Rica, all those kind of things that transpired. Really excited to see where that takes him. Dorian, 6 years, you know, long-time veteran. When that new NBA load management stuff came out, he made a copy of it and brought it to the office and said, Coach, we need to talk about this a little bit. Make sure you understand about this load management. But there's another guy that's been around, that's been through it, has won a championship and understand it. So I think those two guys, but there's some new pieces as well. You know, Oscar Berry, who played last year, shot about 40 from 3. He's got to raise it up as well. And then there's a lot of unknowns. Who's going to be that lead guard for us? Who's going to really take over that scenario for us? Is it going to be Amitri? Is it going to be Jalen? Or is it going to be them as a tandem? Is
Yeah.
it going to be them by committee, so to speak? And then I think the other one would be, where does Nate Litteris and where does Jake Vanderheiden, where do those two guys, one Bucknell, one Longwood, 6'7", 6'9", can both shoot the living dog out of it, are extremely physical, and we can really do, yesterday we really did a lot of nice stuff. So where do those two guys finally get their comfortability? You think Costa Rica or a summer tour would help that, but sometimes it helps, but it's not the end-all, be-all.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Because
I'm
you
with
think, oh, man, everything, but in reality, sometimes you and me are guarding them. No disrespect to your defense. You might have been all defense. Sometimes we're playing the center position. But really excited about our different groups, and without a star, so to speak, we're really excited about who we have.
Okay. Last question. If it wasn't basketball, what would you be coaching? What sport?
If I wasn't coaching basketball, probably football, only because this is crazy. Coach Bowden, when he was at Clemson, he came up to me and he said he knew it was a make-or-break year for us. And he said, Coach, listen, if something doesn't go right, he said, I want you to come over and join the football side. And I was like, we had become really, really good friends. And I said, Coach, I'm very honored that you would say that, but I'm curious, like, why and what would I do? And he's like, I think because you're such detail-oriented, you do a great job with recruits and kids, and like I think you could be a really, really good defensive back coach. Like I really think you could do a really good job there.
Okay.
So and Mark Stoops, he and I, the head coach at Kentucky, he and I were together at Wyoming. We were both cutting our teeth at the University of Wyoming at the same time. And, of course, he was a great defensive back coach when he kind of came into it. And so, I think football, though baseball was my best sport when I played in high school. But I think I'd be coaching football for sure. Okay. We have some football calls. Yeah. We have some check downs and we have some progressions and trips. We have trips. Yeah, we have trips. We have all this kind of So, and I say all the time, I'm like, listen, like, the guy can't be standing there like Peyton Manning. Like, we got to put some pressure on the guy. The guy looks like Peyton. And now the staff's getting on me because Trevor Lawrence is so good. They're like, Coach, you got to change it. I'm like, when he wins the Super Bowl, then I'll change it.
Okay. I got you. Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and good luck this season.
Thank you kindly. God bless you.
Thank you. William Hall, ASUN Gameday podcast, here with Queens men's basketball head coach Grant Leonard. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great.
So, just give me just overall your mindset coming in year two, coming off a ASUN championship quarterfinal appearance. How are you feeling coming into this year?
Yeah, I thought we built a solid foundation year one. Really got a lay of the land, the travel, the teams, the styles of play. I think this year it's our year that we need to start competing for championships. Queens has always been a championship caliber program in every league that it's been in, and now we got to start building those roots and foundation in the ASUN.
Got you. Just a name I wanted to just ask you about, A.J. McKee, all ASUN selection last year. What kind of leadership does he give you, and your expectations, I guess, looking at having him on the floor for you this year going forward?
Yeah, and this is his first year being the guy. Last year he kind of developed into being one of our top guys, even though he's been a 2.5-year starter. I think the biggest thing for him is he is such a high energy guy, but there are times when things aren't going great where his energy can go negative. And our biggest thing is working with him on positive emotion, really being a positive leader to the team. And I think he's done an unbelievable job of that so far, but still an area that we're working with day to day on him.
Got you. So obviously, outside of AJ, BJ McLaurin, Gavin Raines, you got some names that are coming back, but who is, I guess, someone that you think has impressed you, or you're thinking is going to have maybe a breakout year this season that we might need to be keeping our eyes on and talking about them when we're in February and March that we're not thinking about right now?
Yeah, I think Caleb Matthews has had the biggest jump.
Gotcha.
He was a starter last year for us, but really he was his first year really playing a lot on the floor. He's taken a huge jump defensively. I think he's going to have an impact on the league where he could be, defensive player of the year type guy. Okay. His jump defensively has been unbelievable. Ball pressure in the full court, passing lanes in the half court, communication, overall team objectives. He's been unbelievable with that, and I expect him to have a huge year.
Got you. Okay, last question, tough question. Not basketball. What sport are you coaching?
I grew up playing baseball.
Okay.
But I don't know that I would be coaching baseball. I probably would. My whole family grew up playing football.
Okay.
But I honestly think I'd be coaching golf.
Really?
Yeah,
you started with baseball.
Yeah.
You got me there. Okay.
Yeah. Just this getting away and getting my mind off things. Golf has been really great for that. I'm not great at it.
Okay.
But I really enjoy it. I think if I spent more time on it, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
But I think the nature of our profession, we don't get to spend a lot of time with that. Not if you're doing it the right way anyway.
Right.
But I really enjoy being out there, the mental challenge of it, kind of being on your own and fighting through some things, and it's really an interesting mental sport, and I really enjoy it.
Gotcha. Golf coach. All right, I'll take it. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and good luck this season, Coach.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yep. William Hall here with Jordan Mincy, Jacksonville Dolphins head coach. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here. Beautiful day in Clarksville, Tennessee. Being at this arena, man, is unbelievable. And so, like I said, I think this is a big-time event for the ASUN.
Yep. Speaking of unbelievable arenas, talk to me about the atmosphere on your home floor. What makes it so tough for people to come in there and get a win?
So you know what they call it, like the historical swisher, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you get that feel from the time you walk into the front doors. In our lobby, our athletic director did a great job of remodeling it a couple years ago, even though it is historic. But when you walk in, you see the history of the program. You see the guys like D. Brown, Artis Gilmore, guys who are actually still around on campus. And so when you walk in that building, it's just so much tradition.
Yeah.
And so being able to kind of use that in recruiting, being able to get our guys to understand, you have a tradition that you're playing for. And so protect this place like it's your home, understand the value that it holds and the history, rich history it holds. And so it makes it a very special place.
Okay. 2 years away from a championship final appearance, what is special about this team that can get Jacksonville back to that stage?
So, the one thing that I try to do, Tom Watson, one of our former head coaches, he told me, you undersell and then you over-deliver. And so I'm trying to make sure I take his advice. we have a roster that's very similar to my first year, a lot of new turnover and things of that sort. But at the same time, I think I got a special group of guys who are not just basketball players. They're great young men. They understand that it's bigger than the game of basketball. And so being able to have great students, great men, great husbands down the line, great fathers. And so installing those type of traits and habits in our young men daily is something that I see with our roster, and I love what we have.
Okay. Give me a name of a players to watch you think that we need to keep our eye on this year.
So the one thing that I would say is, a lot of people don't talk about a guy named Bryce Workman. And so, Bryce is kind of the guy that everybody has forgotten about. And, 3 days in to our practice last year, he tore his ACL. And so he's fully healthy. He's the guy that we brought with us here. And, everybody, a lot of times talk about Kevion Nolan, but those guys were a 1-2 punch. He was my second leading scorer my first year. And so being able to have him back with a wealth of experience, understanding, the value he has, I think, he's a guy that's kind of been overshadowed right now.
Okay. Last question. It might be a little tough, but if you're not a basketball coach, what sport are you coaching?
If I'm not a basketball coach, I'm going to say this, okay? One of my closest guys is Ollie Simmons, our soccer coach. And, man, this dude is, like, unreal. Like, swag, man, the way he goes about life. This dude is, like, super competitive. And so I think if I wasn't coaching basketball, and I should say this too, and I don't know if it's different, but our women's basketball coach, Special Jennings, she makes me want to coach women's basketball because the way she approaches the game. But at the same time, it'll probably be soccer. Ollie Simmons is unreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate your time, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.
William Hall with the ASUN Gameday podcast. Corey Gibson, Austin Peay men's basketball head coach. Coach, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm here. It's a good day. It's a good day.
Good.
I heard, we were talking earlier. You said home is home. So how great is it to be able to be in this position right now?
This is my home away from home. Having been an undergraduate student here, student athlete, I was a graduate assistant here, adjunct professor here, assistant coach here, and then coming back full circle as the head coach. I've worn so many hats, and it's just surreal and full circle having come back to Clarksville, Tennessee, with such a great administration and F&M Bank Arena. I mean, this is totally special.
Got you. So, obviously, you know, looking at the preseason rankings, they are what they are. Coming in 8, is there an opportunity when you look at that? Is there any sort of motivation or a chance of thinking we can surprise some people looking at you coming in 8? When you see that, does it do anything, or you just see it and just keep moving?
You know, honestly, I haven't physically seen any preseason rankings.
Okay.
You know, I haven't physically seen any.
Got you. Okay.
In regards to that, we really have tunnel vision when it comes to anything going on the outside,
Gotcha.
on the perimeter. We sort of focus on what we have going on. Today is a very special day for our guys, so we're trying to enjoy the moment today,
Okay.
and then we pick back up tomorrow with an unbelievable practice and emptying that tank.
Got you. Fair enough. Well, with our preseason All ASUN team, DeMarcus Sharp didn't make that team. Who else do you feel like is ready to make an impact just coming into this year? I mean, you pretty much have for the most part, just kind of a brand new roster coming in. So, from what you've gotten so far, who are you really that we should probably be looking at like this guy's he's going to give us an impact coming into this new season?
Well, honestly, we have some guys on our rosters that are already staples in the basketball profession. You know what I mean? If somebody don't know who we have on our roster, then I don't know what they're paying attention to. I'm just being quite honest with you. You know, DeMarcus Sharp was up for 3 National Player of the Year awards. National Player of the Year. So, I mean, that speaks for itself. I don't know how many players we have in the ASUN that were up for 3 National Player of the Year awards. I don't know if we have one that were up for 3. So some things sort of speaks for themselves.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
with you.
I would imagine he'll probably be up for some this year too. Jamonte Black is the #1 returning three-point shooter in the country. That's not Coach Gibbs saying it. That's a real stat.
Yeah.
I think his body of work speaks for itself. Desi Jones is a prolific guard. He had a chance to be Player of the Year in the MAC this year had he stayed in the MAC. Okay? I'll just stop right there. But those 3 among some other ones, and then we got a freshman, Lord have mercy.
Okay.
You got to come sing.
I will.
Got to come sing. We got a freshman that got a chance to be one of the best freshmen ever come through this program. And then some other ones, they know who they are.
Okay.
But to keep the long story short, I'll just mention those few.
That'll work. That'll work. I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
The last question. This is the softball. What's your song in your playlist? Game Day. What's getting you?
Well, the one we listen to every morning before practice start is Bone Crusher. I ain't never scared.
Okay. No, say less.
My man.
Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate you, brother.
ASUN Game Day podcast. William Hall here with North Alabama men's basketball head coach Tony Tipoff. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thankful to be here with you.
Yeah, appreciate you giving some of the time. So, I know we talked last season about just overall the state of the ASUN, top to bottom, of how just competitive the conference was. Just give me your thoughts just coming into this season, just where you see ASUN men's basketball right now.
I don't think it's changed. I mean, we've gone. When I first got here, there was 8, 9 teams in the league. Now then it got to 14. Now there's 12. I can tell you right now, it just seems like it gets better every year. And like you said, top to bottom, it's not like there's this huge separation. Year 1, there was a little bit of a gap between Liberty and Lipscomb, but now, I mean, I don't even think, I know Liberty's not here anymore, but I don't think they come in here and just all of a sudden are just game changers here. You got EKU, you've got Lipscomb, you've got all the Florida Gulf Coast, you got all these great programs that are just ultra competitive. So the challenges that they create are amazing. So we're just thankful to be here today. We're thankful to be in this league, and can't wait for the challenges that this league will present.
Yep. Coming off of a solid year last year for North Alabama. What are your expectations coming into this season?
I think like anything else, our expectation is to just continue to grow the program, right? For us, we don't really get caught up in the result. We get caught up in getting the day-to-day work done. And for us, we want to make sure that our guys are building just the right type of culture, the right type of camaraderie amongst themselves, and then just go out there and compete at the highest level that they can, right? Yeah. So our expectation this year is to definitely take it up a notch. I think we've done that by preparing ourselves, by being able to go to the Dominican Republic this summer and kind of get an understanding of what this team can actually be. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very pleased where our team is right now.
Yep. Jakari Lane with a well-deserved preseason All-ASUN selection. Let's talk about his impact on the game when he's out there on the floor.
I mean, he does what a point guard's supposed to do, right? That guy can get in the paint at any moment, and he doesn't need a ball screen to do it. And to me, when you're a point guard and you could do that and put that much pressure on a defense, that's one of his attributes. The other thing is his humility, the way he approaches the game. Just look at his stat line, right? He's not only shooting at a high level, but I said this last year, he was the leading scorer for us in ASUN play, but was third on our team in shot attempts. He led our team in assists. So he embodies what we're trying to build, which is, make the game easy for the rest of your teammates and make sure that your game continues to evolve.
Yep. Last question I got for you.
Yep.
If you're not coaching basketball, what sport is it? Where are you?
Well, I played baseball in college and basketball, right? I was a dual sport athlete. My dad had me playing baseball since I was 3 years old, playing t-ball, and my dad was also a player from Cuba. He played in Cuba for the Havana Sugarcane, which is almost like a AAA ball club.
Okay.
So yeah, I think if it wasn't basketball, I think it'd be baseball for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard it several times today, so we need to do maybe a little swap out and throw a little base on the baseball game with the basketball.
Hey, listen, I think I still can.
Okay.
Right? I pitched in college.
Yeah.
So I think I can still throw it.
You got it.
I haven't done it in a while, but I think I can.
We just need a couple innings. A couple innings of work.
I think I can squeeze out a few.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach, appreciate your time.
Oh.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. William Hall, ASUN Gameday podcast, sitting here with Scott Davenport, head coach of Bellarmine. Coach, championship a few years ago, quarterfinals last year. What in your mind with your team this year gets Bellarmine back to the top of the conference and potentially raising that second banner in 3 seasons?
Well, I'll start this interview the way that I started our meeting as we return to campus from our 8 weeks of summer work. When we return on August the 23rd, I'll start this interview the same way. Unlike I've ever done it in my life as a coach, you would always welcome your freshmen, your players, and I started with saluting. Everybody came back.
Okay.
We lost Justin Betts to graduation, Sam DeVault to graduation. Everybody came back that had the eligibility and the opportunity.
Yeah.
In this day and age, as we all know,
Right. That's an accomplishment.
that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I take. You hear the word culture. I'm not being argumentative. We refer to the word as a program. By definition, a program means you have a plan. Our plan consists of academically, athletically, and socially. What their plan is academically. And these players believed in coming back in a plan for their life.
Okay.
And they deserve all the credit.
Gotcha. Okay. So you obviously had the benefit of bringing back that you're pretty much your whole roster,
Yes.
and you got that leadership. Who is a name that you feel could surprise some people this year?
Pete Suter is not going to be a surprise.
Right.
We had 2. There was a 5-member all-freshman team. We had 2 of the 5 in a
True.
14-team league.
Right.
Ben Johnson, Pete Suter, Landon Haddon, Bash Whelan are our 2 most improved players. What people have to take into consideration is from December 9th to the 21st, 12 days, we lost 4 players. 2 career-ending injuries, 2 season-ending injuries, along with Alec Freem, who's here today, and he came off 2 surgeries in the offseason. Ben Johnson came off surgery in the offseason.
Okay.
As soon as the season was over, we went through literally 8 surgeries.
Wow.
Never in my life.
Gotcha. That's a lot.
Couldn't practice.
Yeah.
It wasn't about just games. Couldn't practice.
Yeah.
And they've come back. They deserve so much credit. Joe Griffith, our strength coach, those players and their dedication and their determination should be a great motivation for all of us.
Okay. Obviously, coming in, you have a great non-conference schedule as usual. When you're coming into conference play with a non-conference schedule that's strong like that, what's the biggest benefit you think that does for your team?
That every practice counts. It's not like, oh, well, we're going to get by this game. Not when you're opening up at the University of Washington, who's going to start 4 graduate transfers and at one of the most sought-after players in the United States as a freshman. You're going to come back and get right back Tuesday late and go Friday to play Elite 8 team in Kansas State. To follow up with a trip to play Louisville, to play West Virginia, and then to play after the semester at BYU and at Utah, December 20th and 22nd. It will only make you better.
Got you. Looking at your team, obviously there are moments where you will need that leadership on the floor when you can't be out there. Obviously, who is that voice, that's that coach on the floor, that general on the floor that can get the team where you need him, and he's got it. It's
Garrett Tipton and Alec Freem and Pete Suter.
Okay.
They're your most experienced. What you got to understand, when I talked about having a plan, Garrett Tipton's going to leave Bellarmine with a bachelor's degree, a master's degree in business administration, and a master's degree in communications. That's 3 degrees. Alec's going to leave with a bachelor's degree and a master's in business administration. Both of them, in the middle of September, their last year of eligibility, had major job offers. The likes of ISCO, which is the #1 irrigation system company in the world. They are hosting the PGA Championship in Louisville next year. He already holds a job offer through an internship with them. Alec Freem through Morgan Stanley, Tom Peroni's group in Louisville, as well as the Morgan Stanley in Cincinnati where he's from.
Okay.
That's how you use basketball. It doesn't use you.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
ASUN Game Day Podcast, William Hall here with Lenny Acuff, Lipscomb men's basketball head coach. Coach, how you doing?
Good, William. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. What a great event.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So, last season, great season for you, especially at Lipscomb. What's your expectation coming into this year, trying to run it back, so to speak?
Well, I think for us, it's like every year. You just want to be the best you possibly can be. I know that sounds like coach speak, but in the climate we're in right now of college basketball, I think you just have to really keep your eye on what's going on with your team because there's so much going on around you. I think it's really hard to have a barometer on what the rest of the league's going to look like. Where do you stack up? I mean, I like our team a lot. I've really enjoyed coaching them. I think we got a better team than we had last year, but I also know the league is really good.
Yeah.
And there's so many teams in our league that have a ton of guys back, but also have added several. And there's several teams in our league that have lost a lot, but they have a tremendously talented new group of guys coming in. So I think it will be very challenging, but I haven't. All I can say is I've enjoyed our team and I'm excited about coaching them.
Yep, good to hear. J.O.'s been outstanding the last few years.
Yeah.
Coming in with the preseason All ASUN selection. What does he bring to the team, especially now stepping into a role where he would probably be more so like a veteran leadership on your team?
Yeah, I think Jacob had an amazing year last year. He was slowed his first year here by injuries, got off to a great start and had some injuries that set him back. But just really proud of him and the character he showed to bounce back and show the kind of young man he is. And he was fantastic for us last year. And the thing is, I think he's really improved. He's a much better player today than he was when the season ended. And that's a real credit to his work ethic and his passion to be a good player. And so we're excited about what he can do. I think we've got 2 other guys back as starters that have been staples for us as well. Will Pruitt will be actually a 4-year starter for us this year, even though he's not a junior. I know that's confusing to everybody, but even though he's just a junior with the COVID year, but just been rock solid for us since the day he walked on campus, and it's just been a real blessing to our program, our school. He's just a winner. And he and Darren Boyd were our 2 guards last year, and they're both back. And Darren's a big, physical, left-handed guard that really had an upward trajectory during the year last year. And those 3 guys are kind of going to be our linchpin guys that we build around. And so we need all 3. They're all here today, and we think all 3 of them need to and will have good years for us.
Got you. So looking at those three names we were familiar with from previously. So, who's someone you think that's we may not be thinking of, so to speak, and that you were looking at as like he's a big contributor?
I think three people come to mind first. AJ McGinnis was actually starting at the end of the year for us last year. He's transferred from Cincinnati. He's a really, really good shooter. Can really shoot it. He's improved in some other areas this year that we emphasize with him. I think he'll be impactful for our team. And then Joe Anderson's a transfer from Furman. That's really come in and kind of taken charge of the point guard role, and we're going to move Will off the ball, so we like playing three guards and be a little smaller, but I think have a little bit more playmaking and decision-making out there. Joe's been really good since the day he walked on campus. And then Owen McCormick, who's a transfer from Presbyterian, is another guy that we're really, really counting on. He'll step in at the 5 along with Grant Assman, who's back. Grant has got a chance to be a really good player for us. He's 6'11" and really talented, but he's been hurt most of the time he's been there. So we're just now getting him back, and we're really excited about what he and Owen bring to us at the 5 spot. But Owen's a transfer from Presbyterian. He was a 3-year starter there, and we think he's a great fit for our system and how we play, and also a great kid.
Gotcha. Okay. Last question. Taking a little bit left. If you're not coaching basketball, what sport are you coaching?
Oh, baseball for sure. That's my dream. I want to coach the Atlanta Braves. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, no, got the sport in the job.
I don't want to coach in college. I don't really want to be the head coach because like they're killing Brian Snicker right now because of what happened last week. Yeah. I'd like to be the bench coach. I'd be like the guy that has all. I'd like to lead the league in suggestions and have also lead the league in fewest decisions that have to be made. But I love baseball. I'm a baseball guy. My son played college baseball, and so I've always loved this sport, and I think it's such a thinking man's game, and so that's the easiest question anybody could ask me.
Okay, well,
that's a belt-high fastball right there,
got
William.
There you go. With the baseball,
yeah,
got you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for your time, Coach.
Buddy.
Good luck this season.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks.
William Hall, ASUN Gameday podcast, sitting down here with Antoine Petway, the new head coach of the Kennesaw State men's basketball Owls. Unique situation where you're coming in, you're taking over a team that just won a conference title.
Yes.
Talk to me about the uniqueness of that situation coming into a program that just won a title, and now you're head of the ship.
Well, I always like to give props to Coach Amir. Like he set the foundation. He did a lot of the heavy lifting, and we're just trying to build on the foundation that he built. I inherited a great culture. You look at guys like Terrell Burton, Damon Robinson. These guys know what it looked like to win a championship. And that's what made this job so attractive to me. I knew I was going to get a group of guys that know the day in and day out grind of winning the championship, man. They know what it takes. They know what it looks like. So I'm excited about it, man. But I definitely came into a situation, man, where I have a great group of guys that they're about the right things, and we got a great culture in place already.
Yeah, my next question was going to ask about specifically Terrell and Damon, that veteran leadership that you have.
Boys.
Like, just the bonus to be able to lean on that. Like what does that do for you as a new coach coming in to be able to lean on these guys that have that leadership already kind of built in, being veterans on the team?
Well, when you look at a guy like Terrell Burton, and I said before, I've coached some really good point guards. He's as good as any point guard I've coached. With his speed, his low center of gravity, like this dude knows how to play. He plays the game the right way. And then you have Damon Robinson, who I've been knowing Damon for a long time, and I like to tell him he's been good for a long time. Those two guys coming into the league, they've been through the league. They know what it looks like. And you got two bookends at the point guard at the 5 spot that you feel pretty good about going in every night. You feel like they can win their matchup. And so now we had a chore of just the plug-in guy, the 2, 3, and the 4. And I think we did a great job of going to get some recruits. I also think it's going to be guys that have an increased role. Look for Simeon Cottle to have an increased role this year. Quincy, I never say his last name because I always screw it up. But Quincy's going to have an increased role. And then we went and got some really good high school players and transfers. So I'm excited about this opportunity.
All those names, I know anybody who knows Kennesaw State basketball knows. So drop a name on me that we may not know about that might catch somebody off guard.
Frank Corn Sherman. He's a freshman out of Augusta, Georgia, played at Grovetown High School. He's a former state champion. He's come in, he's just about the right things. I talk to my guys, like, it's not about getting that trophy and mark. That doesn't make you a champion. It's the everyday habits. Mm-hmm. Your everyday habits make you champions, and he's a guy that's an everyday dude. He brings it every single day. So Frank Corn Sherman, I'm looking for him to have a big time freshman season this year for us.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're running this conversation back in April of 2024.
Okay.
What's the one word that everybody's going to be saying about this season's Kennesaw State men's basketball team?
Ooh, that's a good question. Courage. Courageous.
Okay.
Courageous. I talk to our guys all the time about not being scared to fail.
Okay.
And once you fail, having the courage to do it again. So courageous. We're going to be a courageous team this year, and I'm looking forward to coaching these guys, man.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's on.
I'll be honest with you, dog.
Let's go.
I'm
Let's
looking
go.
forward to seeing it.
Let's go.
So I'm going to end it off same way, saying, you know, what's your hype song? What gets you ready to go?
Probably Young Jeezy. I got to be honest. That's
not specific enough.
I mean, it's a cover
Anything?
song, man. No, it's just I got a playlist with Young Jeezy, and that's what I'm gonna listen to before the game.
Gotcha.
So
He just going.
he just playing back to back.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough.
All right.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Yes, sir.
William Hall, ASUN Game Day podcast, sitting here with Stetson's head coach, Donnie Jones. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, William. Good to see you.
Well, it's good seeing you.
Yeah.
Coming off a great year overall for Stetson last
Yep.
year, maybe not the finish you wanted, but just talk to me about that momentum and that good season carrying into this season. What are you expecting from your team, and what should we look forward to seeing from Stetson?
Yeah, we had some really good moments, I thought, William, last year. Had some big wins early. Gave us some confidence moving into conference play. Really liked, had some new faces, 4 new guys that we had added transfers last year that really sparked us. Coming into year 4 for me, we were looking to really turn the corner, I think, and change our culture. It's been one hasn't won for a long time. So just to get that stigma off our back to have a winning season was huge for us last year, which we did. And I think building, from that coming into this summer and coming into this fall is huge for us. But I think last year conference was as good as it's ever been since I've been here. We had some really great competitive games all the way from the top to the bottom. So and we're looking forward for that being the same way this year.
Yeah. Just looking at your team, talk to me about Jalen Blackman, just the impact that he had on your team, and just what are you looking forward to him with him going forward this year? Obviously he turned a lot of heads and was a very dynamic player for us watching from our point of view, but just what kind of leadership did he bring and that effort on the court from your point of view?
Jalen came in, obviously transfer from Grand Canyon, 4-star player out of high school, really heavily recruited. Came in just trying to fit in. I think early on he'd went through some surgery, so I had a slow start, and I think making the adjustment, style of play, he really kind of came into his own as we got closer into league play and had a terrific conference season. This season, he's been working hard. He's in the best shape of his life. He's gotten stronger, knows the system. Really expecting a huge year from him again in leading our team. But he was fun to watch, and obviously an incredible young man.
Who would be the individual that you might be able to look at and say, I'm expecting sort of a breakout year from him? Who would that be?
Yeah, I think we have a couple. I think one kid that's been exceptional here early on is Alex Oglesby. We call him AO, 6'5" transfer guard last year. Come off the bench, played about 15 minutes a game. But he has really had a terrific summer and fall. He's played exceptional well for us. And so I would think probably the biggest step for him would be him. And then I think, we've added a transfer that we're excited about, Trayton Thompson. They call him Big T, 7-foot transfer from Minnesota that we think's had a really good fall for us.
Okay. Last question, a little bit off.
Yeah.
If you were not coaching basketball, what sport would you be coaching?
Yeah, great question. I love all sports, but I probably would be coaching football. I love football, love college football. I played football. I'm a big fan, watch it, respect football coaches. I think they're way ahead of us basketball coaches. I've always learned from them. When I my days in Florida, I used to watch Steve Spurrier all the time in practice. Used to go over there and sit and just watch him because he always said if he wasn't a football coach, he'd be a basketball coach.
Gotcha.
Because he coached the same way. So I said if I'm the basketball coach, I'd be a football coach.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's what I would be.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate your time, Coach.
Yep.
Thank
It's good
you,
to be with you.
Oh, yeah, and good luck this season.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Will. Thanks.
Pat Chambers, FGCU men's basketball head coach, here on the ASUN Game Day podcast. Coach, good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Year 2, picked second in the preseason poll, for whatever that's worth. But what are your expectations coming into this year for the team?
First of all, year one was an enlightening experience. I knew the league was good, but you don't realize how good it is and how well coached it is until you go through it. So learned a lot about different coaches, different styles, different players. Even though we didn't find the success we thought we would in January and February, man, we learned a lot. There was a lot of growth. So I'm grateful for that growth and those opportunities. We need those. As far as being number 2, I'm still surprised we're number 2 because we only have one all-league player. Usually you need 2 or 3. I look at Eastern Kentucky. I'm looking at North Alabama. I'm looking at Lipscomb. I'm looking at Stetson. I mean, they have multiple guys that are no-brainers, you know, for all league and then to be up in the top 4. So I'm grateful that the coaches and whoever else voted for that voted us. Thank you. I'm not sure why. But, you know, that's for the fans, you know. That's for the families. Oh, this is cool. Preseason 2, yeah.
So
we were preseason 4-6 last year, and we ended up 10th. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
Right? It's the end result that matters, unfortunately, and that's how we're judged. And then you asked about expectations. You know, I've been using standard with our team more often than ever. I felt like expectations wore us down a little bit last year as well. You add that ingredient into being, you know, everything we went through in January, February. I just said, let's meet our own standard, and whatever that standard is, let's meet that standard, try to exceed that standard. And if 15 guys are always striving to be the best that he can be and do the little things and be disciplined and all that, because I didn't think we were very disciplined towards the end. And I get it, you know, got different guys are in different situations and out of position. But we just need to tighten some things up. So there's the standard, and the standard needs to be met on a consistent basis. If we can do that, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Okay. You mentioned your preseason All-ASUN member, Isaiah Thompson, kind of came through, took the league by storm last year as a newcomer to the conference. What impact does he have on the floor?
I mean, on the floor, you know what he can do. He's a high-level point guard. His assist to turnover down the stretch was great, 2-1. Really shot the ball well. I think the critical thing for us is not his play on the court. Is going to be in the locker room, in the airports, on the bus rides. Really to step outside his comfort zone and lead a group of guys that want to be led. And he will do that. Now, he's not going to do it by himself.
Gotcha.
Because we have leadership council. Because we want to hear from. Look, we have an older team. We have some seniors now. I think we have 5 seniors, plus some traditional seniors. You know, we forget about that pandemic year. That pandemic year, you got 5th-year guys, you got 4th-year guys. So I'm excited about our. You know, we're veterans, we're leaders. But also we have habits that we got to conquer. But they're going to lead by committee, and I think that will help Isaiah.
Just a couple weeks away from the start of the season, looking at your team right now, who is someone that you feel can step up and have that breakthrough year for the Eagles this year?
Yeah, you know, we talk Isaiah, we talk Zach Anderson, we talk Chase Johnston. I think the one guy that I'm going to reach back to, I'm going to give you 2 guys, is Cyrus Largy.
Okay.
Fractured his hand in the Tennessee game last year, and he was really good for Coach Fly the year prior. So I'm looking for him to get back to his old self.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say Franco Miller. Franco just played for the Bahamian national team. Beat Argentina on their home floor twice. Not once, but twice, which is a big deal. If you go on YouTube and you watch the highlights, you're going to go, wow, they won that game. Now, don't get me wrong. They had Buddy Hield, they had Eric Gordon, and they had DeAndre Ayton. All right, so with saying that, he still was 6th, 7th man, depending on what game it was, and he still produced, and he still helped them in a crazy environment. And what great reps, can I call them reps or experiences? Or what an incredible experience that he had to go against Argentina, play in FIBA, and do all these amazing. He played Kansas, had 21 against Kansas as a warm-up game. I look for those 2 guys to really break out because of where they are. They're a little bit older, a little bit wiser. The game's slowing down for them. And I'm excited about the offseason both guys have.
Okay. Last question. Probably the hardest one you'll have to answer.
Shoes. I'm going shoes this year, not sneakers.
That's a good one. If you're not a basketball coach, what sport are you coaching?
Football. It's a no-brainer. I'm a football player coaching basketball. I'm not Gene Katie, but I'm a football player coaching basketball.
Got you.
I love football. I love Penn State football. When I was there, I didn't miss a game. I used to go to practices all the time, especially under Bill O'Brien. I just thought he was the greatest. And Joe Paterno, obviously. Obviously, James is doing a great job, too. I love football. My son plays football. My 8-year-old, wants to play football. My older brother played football, was player of the year in the Ivy League for Penn, had a cup of coffee in the NFL. So if you, as you can see, I'm passionate about football.
That's it.
Because let me tell you, what Nick is doing, what Deion is doing, Nick Saban that is, what Deion Sanders is doing, what all these great coaches are doing, to get 11 guys on one unit, 11 guys on another unit, and 11 guys on special teams. You know how hard that is to do? I'm only trying to get 5.
Right.
Think about that for a second.
That challenge,
That challenge. So I just, there's so much I take away from these football coaches. I commend them because it's so hard what they're doing. But if you told me I had to be something else other than a basketball coach, I'm still coaching.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be a football
coach.
I'll take the D-backs.
Okay. Love it. Well, appreciate your time, Coach. Thank you. Good luck this season.
Yeah, thanks so much.
William Hall, ASUN Game Day Podcast, A.W. Hamilton, EKU men's basketball head coach.
My boy.
Coach, how you doing?
Good, man. It's good to see you again.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
So, just starting off, number one, preseason polls. I'm not sure if you know, it got announced earlier. I know nobody can put any more pressure on your team externally, but when you see that, does that give you any sort of, do you take anything from that, knowing that, the coaches and the media think you're our top team, you're the team that should be raising the trophy?
Last year we were 10th. You really don't pay a lot to the preseason. It's about where you finish. But I love our group because our group is different. They decided to stay together, and you just don't see that nowadays in college basketball. Our core group of guys, we got like 84% of our scoring back. They decided to stay together and play another season with each other. And it was so awesome to see. We get back from the CBI, they come to me, they're like, Coach, we want to have a press conference. We want to announce to the world that we're staying at Eastern. And then, people are looking at me like, well, you guys had a press conference. What are you doing? I said, that's college basketball. I went to the Final Four right after, and every coach in the country stopped me and was like, man, good for you. Yeah. How did you pull that off? And it wasn't me. It's just it's the group that we got. We got a special group of guys.
Got you. Well, speaking about two of that out of that special group, our preseason player of the year, Devontae Blanton, our preseason defensive player of the year, Isaiah Cozart. Just talk about, I guess, the impact that both of them can bring, and then also leadership being on that team last year, bringing that team back, trying to drive you to a higher, success at the end of the year.
Tay Blanton, he's got a different mentality. I mean, like in the summer, he's waking up at like 4 in the morning and running to the gym, getting up shots before weights, and he's such a hungry, competitive kid. And I'm so excited for him. I'm really, really excited for him and Cozy to get recognized like that. I mean, Cozart was 4th in the country in block shots last year. And not only that, how he impacted the game on the offensive end just by getting his hands on so many balls, and we end up being 3rd in the country in offensive rebounding. And so I'm really proud of both of those guys. And when we recruited Tay, I told him, I said, hey, you're going to be an all-conference player. I mean, he's got a great basketball IQ. He's got a great feel for the game. And then Cozy, we didn't get him out of high school. He went to Western, and we're so happy to get him back. And he's gained so much confidence, especially with the CBI run we had. He had a game. He had 31 and 17. Yeah. And we were running plays for him. And Coach looks at me and he's like, Coach, I don't remember last time somebody ran a play for me. I said, man, you're doing it, man. We're running more for you.
Okay. So obviously we talked about just even with the preseason rankings, people are obviously eyes are on EKU right now. Who is someone you feel can have a breakout year though? Someone that you just putting in the work and just ready to just step up to help elevate everyone.
I think Leland Walker's is ready to explode. We challenged Leland to make a new commitment to his body in the off season, and I give him so much credit. He's done that. He's a natural scorer, but he's had a tremendous offseason. I mean, tremendous. So, I'm expecting big things out of Leland this year, and I'm excited for him because, again, he's put in the work. He's taken on the challenge, and it's showing for him right now.
Gotcha. Last question: if you're not coaching basketball, what sport you coaching?
Oh, baseball. Yeah, I'm a baseball guy. Yeah.
You answered that too quick.
Yeah.
No thought.
No, baseball.
You know
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Fair enough. We'll do it. Appreciate your time, Coach. Good seeing you as always, and good luck this season.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.